All right.
I don't know. I haven't seen her in a while. Yeah.
Did I tell you what happened at the store?
Yes.
All right, we're ready to go here. I'm Chef Tom Douglas. This is the Hot Stove Society Show on Cairo Radio. We're coming to you from the Andra Hotel in downtown Seattle. It's a beautiful boutique hotel, I would call it.
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous. 4th of Virginia, right across the street from the Dahlia Bakery. Serious Pie downtown. Neb, our little Italian joint. Lola downstairs. This is our corner.
Someone in the audience just went to Neb last night.
Oh,
Looking
really?
forward to hearing about it.
And so far, so good? You know, it's amazing. You're the first people to come out alive.
What? What?
It's astonishing. And if you walk right down the street, our new places where I've been hanging out quite a bit is it's called Mr. Fish, and it's right next to Half Show. Those are our new...
Which is down in the Pike Place Market.
No, it is not. You're not allowed to say that.
Oh, you're not?
No, we are not on the market property, and they sent me a cease and desist order.
No kidding.
A few years back.
Wow.
Even though I support them like crazy, they didn't bother to call me. They sent me a cease and desist order because Google had put those words onto our little thing on the Google.
So we're at the edge of the market.
And so they said you're not allowed. Yeah, no. Yeah, we're on the north end, outside the Pike Place Market, across from Victor Steinbrook Park.
In the original Starbucks space.
And here's what I got to say about that. You know, they're trying out this no traffic in the market thing.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't like it. I'll just
Really?
say that right now. Yeah, I do not like it.
Why?
To me, the traffic is part of the energy, and I know there's lots of safety concerns, and in our world that we live in today, there's some bigger concerns.
Right.
But the dodging the cars and kind of the energy of cars just kind of making their way through the market.
Creeping through the market, right?
Yeah, it's just part of the energy. It's part of what the Pike Place Market is.
It's true. Because I like to pull into Frank's if I've got a catering or something and load up the car, and I kind of creep through.
Yeah,
And
so I'm just registering my vote. Nobody really cares what I think about it.
Especially the market.
Especially the market folks don't care what I think. Speaking of the market, you know, we're going to be down there, or Sunset Supper.
Oh, that's the best
We
event.
do tons of events every year, but one of my favorites is being on the cobblestones of the market outdoors at night, cooking along and having thousands of people kind of strolling about. It's
You're
beautiful.
working it, too. You and Loretta.
Fun event.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Yeah.
Join us for breakfast on a live recording here like these fine folks have done. Tickets are at hotstovesociety.com. I think they're $30. Is that right?
That's correct.
And, you know, Chef Annie is quite the chef.
Mm-hmm.
And she is making back there some crepes with some fried eggs and some mushroom gravy and fruit cups and brown butter madeleines. And there's lots and lots of fun stuff. And typically when our guests come on the show, if they happen to be in the food business, they sometimes bring a little taste.
We have a couple tastes today.
Do we? Mm-hmm. Well, good. I would say you end up leaving sated. I like that word, sated.
For sure.
It's just one letter off of Satan.
That describes Annie.
Maybe it's
that
two.
That describes Annie well.
Just kidding. Just kidding. You can also watch us on YouTube. Go to Tom Douglas and Company, and you can tune into our YouTube channel. Please subscribe. It doesn't cost a penny, but it makes us look really good and feel very good about ourselves. So we have more than 3 subscribers. Doesn't it pump up your ego when you look to see we're up to 5 subscribers?
I check it all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Upcoming classes here at the Hot Stove. You know, sometimes people don't really realize what we do here because we have a varied business. You know, we do our our King TV spots for evening here. We do our radio show here, but we also do corporate gigs and regular kind of maybe 2-hour cooking classes, which is how I met you, Becky, many years ago in summer camp.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're super fun. I do maybe 3 a month, 4 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Bridget. Yeah, you do, Tom. Yeah, you do. Summer pasta class is coming up with you. What's that?
So we do our Pasta 101, which is working with the nice KitchenAid rollers. And then we have a pasta class by hand. So no rollers. It's all with kneading and shaping. And people always ask about sauce. Like, what's the appropriate sauce? I know. Light, heavy, cream, meat. What kind of pasta with those?
Very seasonal, I would think.
It's seasonal and it's also weight-based. Like those lighter, if you have a really delicate light pasta, you don't want to put a big, heavy, gloppy sauce on it. Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Rigatoni and bolognese. That's the
so
classic.
good. Yeah.
That's Jackie's favorite.
So it's a fun class. Everybody's going to make multiple sauces and
Love
take
it.
them home. Yeah.
That's July 1st. Pasta 101 on summer pasta sauce is July 1st. Pasta 101
Following
is on July 8th.
Yeah,
and
they're both on Tuesdays.
A crab feast. How can we afford to do it? Boy.
Nico,
You
that's
must
your
have
side. That's
you
your
must have eaten Annie's breakfast.
There it goes. Woo, 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 woo.
That sounds like our new puppy dog. He's got a little kennel cough going.
Aw.
You got a puppy?
Jackie has a puppy.
Nice.
I simply watch and stay awake and take it out to pee. That's what I do. Crab Feast with Chef Rashida Rusley on July 11th, and many more. Go to hotstovesociety.com.
Yep.
On today's show, food and travel writer Leslie Kelly is here with her pinkness. She is totally pink and fresh tales from the San Juan Islands. Our tasting panel. We haven't had one of these in a few weeks.
Right.
Tasting panel is going to take on vanilla extract. I think that's a super good idea because people they're confused.
Mm-hmm.
There's vanilla bean paste. There's bourbon vanilla, Tahitian vanilla, fake vanilla. There's just all kinds of vanilla.
It's from all over, yeah.
And vanilla beans, which are dang expensive.
Still?
Yeah.
Still. And now with the tariffs.
You know, you see that one bean in a jar for like $14.
Right.
Yeah. It's
Right.
crazy. Bridget, you're going to take us shrimping. Apparently you were up in the Hood Canal area. Is that true?
No, we were up in the San Juan Islands.
San Juan Islands.
Yeah, and we went shrimping.
I saw your basket of shrimp.
Oh, man.
And I'm not talking about the cooked kind. It looked like you were having a good run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was great.
Look at those eyes on her. Yeah.
It was delicious.
Yeah. Your eyes are starting to look like shrimp.
Yeah. Feeling like it early this morning.
We dive into the preservation of Pacific Northwest salmon with Duke Mosgrip and Heather Anderson, founders of Duke's Damsel on a Train Foundation. I have to find out more about that. Rick Steves is here. We don't usually get big fancy guests like this, do we?
Sure.
Like international fame guest.
You want to come cook, but he's going to be from his kitchen in
Well,
Edmonds.
why didn't he then?
He's got other things going on. And he's in Europe 100 days out of the year.
Oh, my goodness. You know, I feel like I was just in Europe almost 100 days out of the year, but I wasn't. But it felt like it.
Felt like it.
Yeah, exactly. And, of course, we're going to wrap things up with Food for Thought, tasty trivia. Bridget.
Yeah, Tom.
I would assume your taste of the week has something to do with spot prawns. Maybe
it does.
not. Maybe you're going to save that for our segment?
I can, yeah. What do you got?
I've got everything.
You know, I got to say, taste of the week, the local strawberries are in. And I stopped off at Snow Goose, and they had a basket. They had a basket of strawberries, and you could smell them from a couple of feet away. So that was my taste of the week. I got a basket. Asked them if they had some water. I just rinsed them and ate the entire basket.
Yeah, nice.
God, they were good.
Yeah. And you can always tell they're just solid red all the way through the center. You can tell
and
the locals.
Just the smell and the flavor, it was delicious.
You know, I was telling somebody this morning, as a matter of fact, that it's worth the effort to make to get the local product in instead of using. You know, we're so used to going to the grocery store year round now and getting Driscoll berries here and there, blah blah blah, and you really have to kind of stop and think and start to support the local product again during its season.
Right, when it starts coming in.
And so when you walk into, say, I was up at Town and Country Market there in Shoreline.
Yeah.
You walk into that
That front area by
front
the crab.
area that's got maybe 50 racks of strawberries in it. Oh, it's the bomb.
Did it smell good?
Oh,
Yeah.
lovely.
It is nice.
Yeah. My taste of the week, we have a new chef at Carlisle Room. Sun is her name. She's been with us for years.
Uh-huh.
And she did a tasting along with a bunch of other people to take on the chef job there.
Right.
And
Sounds like she won.
she did a great job. We're excited. She's a super nice person. And I went through the menu last night with her because she hasn't changed everything. It's only been a week or two. She hasn't changed everything yet.
Right.
But it's fun to talk to a new chef who's super excited about their job, has some ideas about where they want to go with the menu. And, of course, in my restaurants, I have, 10 restaurants now. And we have a team that kind of decides what that menu looks like, what the restaurant purpose is, where we want that menu to go, who our customer base is. There's lots of reasons why you pick a menu. For example, the Carlisle Room is right across the street from the Paramount Theater. When there's a show at the Paramount, we're busy at the Carlisle. When there's not a show at the Paramount, we're not so busy at the Carlisle. So when you think about a menu for the Carlisle Room, I think about, okay, what are the show people here for? They're in town. It's a big night. They're spending a ton of money at the show.
Right.
They're paid for parking. They're maybe in a hotel room. What are they here for? And then
they don't want to break the bank, I can tell you.
Well, that's not.
Oh, some people do.
It's not my point. Yeah, it's just a big night out. It's a big weekend out.
Right.
So many moms and daughters out last night for Mamma Mia. It was so cute to see.
Cute, yeah.
And I'm just saying that's when I think about a menu for Carlisle. We have two thoughts there. One is we always do a drink and a couple of menu items that fit the show at the Paramount.
Oh,
so that's a Mediterranean base if you think about
Greek
where that movie is or the play was.
It was in Greece,
yeah, exactly. So it's a Mediterranean base. But then on the menu itself, I don't believe that a mom and daughter that are coming for the show, Mamma Mia, really are interested in a pig ear salad to start things off with. Right? Which many gourmands, many people like you and I would order a pig ear salad.
Right.
But to me, it doesn't fit the show across the street, which is where I would say 85-90% of our business is coming from.
Right.
So I try to think about that when I'm creating a menu for that restaurant. It's like, what's going to fit a showgoer? Whereas at the Palace Kitchen, which isn't across the street from the Paramount Theater, a pig ear salad would sell like crazy. So that, I don't think people realize how much thought goes into your atmosphere, where you are, time of day that you're open.
Well, and you don't want a heavy meal if you're going to go sit in a chair.
There's that also. And so sometimes we just think of a chef as being a good cook. Well, a chef is also a designer. It's only 25% of a chef's job, as you know, is cooking. The other part is getting your schedule together, getting your cost in line.
Management, yeah.
It's a big management job.
Right.
So that was fun to talk with Sun. It's her first chef job. She's been a sous chef for a long time. But her first chef job, it's fun to talk to her about those idiosyncrasies.
So what was the taste
of running a restaurant?
Right. What was the taste that caught your attention?
Well, last night, oddly enough, to her, she made a blueberry and corn salad.
That sounds familiar.
I have a blueberry and corn salad in my first book. She had no idea. It was just so funny. I said, "Did you steal this out of my book?" I just looked at her, and she speaks a little bit. I wouldn't say broken English, but she has an accent like Annie has an accent. So. And she just gave me that scowl like Annie gives me every dang day. And I think they're two peas in the same pod. But anyway, so, no, we had a good chat, and it was good fun. But, yeah, what a coinkydink that she had a corn and blueberry salad.
And, corn's just coming in.
And, Terry loved that salad. He put it in his book.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah, super fun.
Don't remember seeing that.
Thanks for your support. When we come back, we're going to take up a trip up to the San Juans. We're kind of living in the San Juans for a few segments this show.
Yeah, we're in the Salish Sea for sure.
Yeah, all right. Leslie Kelly's here on Cairo Radio. It's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
So, guys, sorry we don't have cameras up here, but we're on. When you see it on YouTube, you can see all this. If
we don't have cameras.
The cameras aren't running
working
today.
I've never seen you stand so long.
Good morning.
Leslie, have you been eating spot prawns? Because you're a little pink today.
I wish. I've been kind of stalking Bridget up there in the Salish Sea. I'm like, wave at me.
Got it. But still, see, if you go just a little,
So you're on YouTube watching us now. Is that what you're doing? Thank the Lordy. Just cut off this much.
right here. I'll show you.
Jim, you don't have any friends? Is that what you're saying?
No, I lost all of them.
My God.
No, he's got.
It happens at our age, you know.
They say, oh, you're friends with Chef Tupper.
Yeah. We're going to take a pass today. Thank you.
Nico, that's much better.
Pamela made your corn blueberry salad for me.
Did she? Yeah. Terry loved that salad for some reason. I don't know. It was like, really? Sad to see the destruction in downtown Seattle, down south on 4th Avenue this week, last night.
Was there a lot? They just reported on one dumpster.
Well, that's just a fire, dumpster fire, but lots of vandalism type
Oh,
destruction.
That's too bad.
I hate that.
All right, here we go. Welcome back. It's the Hot Stove Society Show. Bridget, I know you spent some time in the San Juans this last few days, and Leslie Kelly, you are here today. I'm
Good
glad that you
morning.
pinked up a bit.
Oh, well, you know, it's what you got to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Stand out in the crowd.
Yes,
Who's
you do.
that
Yes,
old
you
lady
do.
with pink hair? Oh, my gosh.
Success.
Hi, Leslie. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
Often a contributor here, and then also a lover of our shallot mustard.
Oh, my gosh.
So good.
It's so good, and I think it's going away.
It is going away. You have to get it
what?
while we got it.
Tragic.
Yeah,
Tragic.
tragic. Well, we're in the middle of kind of a rebrand, kind of thinking about our retail situation and just thinking about how
I'm
things
here.
fit.
I'm here to help.
You're here to think.
Okay.
You know, your bio says you're a food and travel writer. I think of you being just an RV squatter. With
Well,
the weenie over the
I'm
blistering
an
weenies
aspiring
over the fire.
squatter. Yes.
Yeah.
No. For the past 4 years, my husband and I have been volunteering up at Spencer Spit State Park on Lopez Island. We're camp hosts, which involves tidying up campsites, talking with people, talking with visitors, selling camp wood. I am a really good
Leslie,
camp wood
You got to
salesman.
tell them where Spencer Spit is, because that's the most magical
beautiful.
place in the
I don't
San
know if I can
Juans.
tell because it's kind of a closely guarded secret.
It must be. I've never heard of it.
It's on Lopez Island. It is from the ferry. It's only like a 7-minute drive. There's a campground. There is an amazing. It's a historic spot. So it was a homestead way back in the early 1900s.
Yeah.
And there's a museum out
20s.
on the spit. I have walked out on that spit hundreds of times and even jumped in on occasion, even though it's
Hopefully on the south side there.
yeah, well, it depends on the tide. And no, it's such a beautiful place. And if you haven't been, you need to go. And a lot of boaters come and moor there overnight.
Yeah.
But Lopez is, and I have spent a lot of time up in the San Juan Islands, even as a kid. My parents had a place up there and spent summers up there. And it was, it's gotten very popular, very busy. Lopez is probably an exception. They're a little off the radar.
Well, there's a lot off about Lopez, in my opinion.
The wave.
Really?
Well, I've been there once. We rented a house for like 4 days.
Yeah.
I was there for one day, and everyone waved at me, and I had to leave. I literally left. I had to get off the island. It was like
It's called the
whoa.
Friendly Isle.
Oh my God!
It's hard when you get
Leave
home.
me alone.
Because you're so used to waving. We had a family place up
Exactly.
there for 20
Oh, my
years.
God.
It's well, the wave is just a finger off of the.
What?
If you're cool.
Oh,
Yeah,
there's-
that's what I-
there's-
at first
steering
I
wheel.
thought they were giving me the finger, but
Yeah,
it was
well,
the
probably
index
for
finger
you
that-
they
Yeah.
were, but
Waving.
no, they.
Anyway,
it's-
I had to leave.
yeah, it's
Love you guys.
You know what? It is a super chill place, and it takes some getting used to.
Oh my goodness, it was too
because
quiet for me.
It's very, very quiet. But if you like to
So beautiful.
explore, I have been to every farm stand on the island, and it's a very pastoral scene.
Yeah, Jackie loves it. I'll say.
Yeah,
but
well,
my idea of a hike is 18 holes on a golf course. So
They have a golf course there.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a top notch.
Anyway, one of my favorite places up there is called Setsune Noodle Bar, and this guy makes his own, ramen
talking about
and
this, yeah.
soba, and he is just moving into a new space called the Galley down there at Fisherman's Bay.
Galley's was forever the local pub.
Yes. So that they're going to keep a little bit of that flavor, but also I'm a ramen addict. I have a group of friends. We go out for ramen all the time, trying to find the best. And this really is right up there.
There's two surprises to me. One is that you have a group of friends.
Tom. He's like my big older brother.
older brother.
I'm going to say older. He's a month older
the
than me.
second one is that I did not know about your ramen addiction.
I know. Well, I keep it, there's a group for that.
What's your perfect ramen?
Oh boy, I just love the depth of the broth that you can get. Always the pork for me.
So not the
Yeah.
shoyu broth, because there's not, in my mind, not a lot of depth to that.
I don't.
It's the
Yeah,
kind
I
of
don't go
emulsified
for
broth.
shoyu. I
Yeah.
go for the
What's the other one?
tonkatsu. And I just love how it looks. It's so simple, yet so deep and
Delicious,
rich.
yeah.
So I love that, and I'm still searching for that perfect bowl of ramen. I have never been to Japan. I think I need to go.
Yeah, you need
check
to go.
that
I
out.
think, yeah.
But that place is cool. And then there's a new bakery up there called Fine Mess, and they do a beautiful job. There's another bakery called Barn Owl.
And Holly Bees.
Barn
Holly
Owl's
Bees
great,
is
yeah.
now Fine Mess.
Okay.
Yeah, they changed ownership.
legend.
Yeah, and
So
so it's a really beautiful, chill place to go.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tom.
No, it is beautiful. I'm not at all disparaging its beauty. It's just too quiet for me.
Yeah. So we also took a little side trip over to Friday Harbor, and I had probably some of the best barbecue.
Really?
Yes.
Now you're talking.
Shocking.
Yeah.
It was shocking. This guy has taken over Friday Harbor House restaurant, and
Really?
yes. And I saw
Wow.
when I first got there, I saw the smoker out on the patio. I'm like, okay, what's going on here? And it smelled legit. I lived in the South. I lived in Memphis for a while, the home of the best barbecue.
Memphis in May. Yeah, I've
Memphis
been
in
there.
May.
Yeah.
Best barbecue on the planet. And he did this rack of pork, local pork. So I might start drooling when I describe this. And he did a rub that had some local kelp, dried kelp in it. So it gave it a
Nice.
real umami. And he also served it with a beautiful ragu of local oysters that had a really, yes.
Wow.
Yeah, you got to go.
Wow.
You
What
gotta
would
go
a
check it
ragu
out.
of oysters be?
I don't know. You had me there for a minute.
And then, yeah.
Okay. Did I
Are they
say
pickled
ragu?
or something?
No, they're not pickled. They're braised. And
Just
I
kind of
can't.
sautéed.
I
huh?
cannot remember the sauce. Sorry.
That sounds interesting.
It was really interesting. It was like another meat almost.
Tom
It
doesn't
was
like oysters, so you lost him.
not oysters. Did I say oysters? I
You
meant
said oysters.
I meant oyster mushrooms.
Oh, that's
man.
so
Take two. Cut.
Barbecue pork with a ragu of oysters.
Yeah. That's
I
hilarious.
saw Tom's
I need
face. I
another-
was like,
I
game
needed a-
over.
He doesn't like oysters?
I'm not. I don't dislike
He's
them.
a-
I just, if I have a choice between oysters and a spot prawn, I'll take a spot prawn 100 times out of 100.
Well, then we would make a good dinner
Yeah.
date because I I'd rather have the oyster.
Annie's the shucking wizard, so
Oh, wow.
you got that.
Wow. Okay. Sorry. Oyster mushrooms. Wow. Yes. And that was
The whole audience, they went kind of ashen, and then now they're back. Now they're
that could
back.
have been a surf and turf, though, right?
Coulda, woulda, shouldn't.
Coulda, woulda, shouldn't. No. Check out the restaurant at the Friday Harbor House.
Okay, last one. We got time for one more
Oh boy.
gem from
What's
up
your
there.
favorite restaurant on Lopez?
Well, the Setsuni Noodle Bar.
No, but
yeah, that's it.
like a full service.
No, that's it. That's it. No, that's it.
Okay.
But I want to go back to Friday Harbor for a second because San Juan Island Sea Salt just opened a gift shop there, and they are baking cookies in-house that are some of the most incredible cookies I've ever had. They are shaped like a hockey puck, so they're large, but not in a over weird way. And of course they have a nice salt crunch on top. They've got one like coffee cake cookie. So I definitely recommend stopping in there.
And if you want to learn about these, just go to Leslie's written 2 recent great articles at Forbes.com.
Yes.
And you have pictures of the smoker, and you've got pictures of the San Juan
Yeah.
sea salt.
Oh,
so,
very nice.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
great articles. So the secret one
you.
about Lopez isn't so much a secret anymore.
No, and I'm afraid to look to see what the comments are. Probably people are saying, "Don't tell people to come here."
It's
They
so
wanna keep it a
true.
secret.
It's
They
so
really-
true.
To the island or to Spencer Spit?
To the
the
San Juan
island.
To the
Islands.
island. They don't want
No,
them up
to
there.
the San Juan Islands. Oh, if you're gonna go, you have to have a ferry reservation, or
Ferry.
jump on Bridget's boat.
Okay.
I can run you over.
There's public docks you can just run up on a boat. And,
Yeah, sure.
yeah. I have learned in my short life that it's good to have friends with boats and jets. Those are my 2 friends.
I have friends in low places. In other words,
Yeah. Ferry reservation is important.
yes, it is.
You know, our daughter, not for a little TMI, was conceived on Orcas.
Oh, wow.
On Orcas Island. I'll just say
Wow.
that right now.
Loretta,
So
are you listening?
I'm not an anti-San Juan person.
TMI, Tom.
Yeah.
TMI.
Pine Cottage.
Ooh,
wanna be specific.
okay.
Vanilla tasting.
When vanilla tasting, when we come back on Cairo Radio, it's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
Oh my God.
Thank you, Leslie.
That was fun, Leslie. Thank you. Hey, how did those canals come out?
I think they turned out okay.
Okay is not good enough.
They look good. You got better.
Fantastic
As you went
is-
along.
I did get better, yes.
Nope. One is sugar cubes at the top of the.
Hello. That close? Oh, this feels really sexy.
You got to get in. Yeah. Project. Little no sugar in there.
There's no sugar.
In the cream, no. She said no.
No, that's fine.
I feel
just-
like the sugar clouds the vanilla a little.
I'm not sure what's going to be showing up on YouTube.
Thanks. And then I put the vanilla on the sugar. You can smell it, so you can get the aromas and decide if it's fruity or chocolatey
getting
or
enough.
cherry or. Yeah, definitely.
So as your breakfast comes out, a couple of things we did on purpose there. One is the fried egg with the crispy edge. That's my favorite way to have a fried egg, is to have a little bacon and butter crispy edge and a soft center. Huh? Got to start with a hot pan. And then the mushroom gravy on the crepe has got our mushroom rub in it, which is what I call gravy helper.
Not getting much vanilla. Ooh. We should have put more. I mean, it
More.
looks beautiful.
Can you smell it on the sugar cubes?
I could taste it better on
You
the
can
sugar.
On the
lick
sugar
this
cube, you can
sugar
taste it
cube.
better. That's how I decide if I'm ready to bottle. I smell it on the sugar, and then I taste it with a little whipped cream. That's how
It
we
does
decide
help.
if it's ready to bottle. Is our tasting a bust?
I put in like 2 teaspoons. Isn't that funny?
It's all right. It's the idea.
Welcome back. It's the Hot Stove Society show in Cairo. I'm getting whipped cream all over the place. I just put my show sheet in the whipped cream.
Nice.
Why do we have whipped cream in front of us?
Because we have a guest here, Megan Wilson. She's from Pine and Palm Kitchen, and she's got a new rebranded food line called Wild Montana Foods, and she does beautiful vanilla. And she
Because they grow a lot of vanilla in
They
Montana.
grow a lot of vanilla
Lots.
beans. Yes. So she offered to come teach us how to taste vanilla. But Megan, why don't you tell us about yourself first?
I've lived in Whitefish, Montana for 22 years, and I've had a food blog since 2017. And I wanted to have a food product as a physical iteration of my food blog. And I started out doing vinegars with apples grown in the Flathead Valley, and just somehow transitioned into vanilla. I just found myself using it more often. And I found 2 fair trade bean co-ops, and was able to source extraordinary beans. And then my partner is Glacier Distilling Company. So we use local spirits, and we make a really extraordinary double fold vanilla extract that we age 12 to 18 months. We also make vanilla paste, and instead of using sugar, we use flathead honey in it. And the honey suspends the bean caviar beautifully. It is just a really subtle taste. And then we use those Glacier Distilling spirits as well. So we have this fantastic...
Which is a neutral, like 180 proof spirit, is that right?
It starts at 180. We cut it, and then the
Okay.
USDA requires it to be 35% to be able to bottle it. So that's where
Okay.
we go. And then we also manufacture vanilla sugar and vanilla maple syrup. And I forgot it, but it's right back behind me. I brought you a Father's Day present. I brought you a
Oh.
bottle of vanilla maple syrup so you can put it on Jackie's sourdough waffles
I love
for Father's
that.
Day.
Yeah, I do love those waffles.
We
she
hot-
makes waffles out of her sourdough discard.
Yum.
Yeah, I hear you talk about them all the time. Thank you. So I got you a bottle
Oh,
of my
thank
maple
you.
syrup. We hot pack a vanilla bean in every single bottle of maple syrup.
So then what do you do when you're done with
So
the
what's
maple
it,
syrup?
$100 a bottle?
No, not for you. No, I just have really good wholesalers that I work with. I have a company in Vermont called Bard Woods, and I get maple syrup from them. And so I have really good partners I work with. It's taken me 3 years, but we have really good sources. So we're doing well.
That's great.
So Pine and Palm, I mean, a lot of people have gotten into the podcast business. How do you set yourself apart?
Well, I focus primarily on the Northwest and Pacific Northwest foods, the things that we have locally. Those are the things that I can make, and I also love to entertain. And so I've been entertaining and doing parties for 35, 40 years. So I do the things that, as someone who's successful in the food business, the recipes that work time and time again. It's not, being a Gen Z person in an apartment trying to whip up a recipe. This is a recipe I've made for 35 years that's going to work. And so that's why it just made sense to move that into a food space and have a food production company.
Wow. I don't know if you know this, but I own part of a buffalo herd in Montana.
I know this about you.
Yeah, exactly. And I've never been over to see them.
You should go see them.
Yeah.
They're probably beautiful.
I was invited this summer. I guess we've put some cottages or whatever you call those things out on a ranch.
A buffalo?
Cabins.
Yes,
I
cabins.
guess we put some cabins on the-
Very
on the property.
sophisticated.
A dwelling made of logs.
Yes, it's something. I'm not sure what they're made of, honestly.
Where in Montana?
I'm not even Hot Springs. Does that sound right? I think that's about
Hot Springs.
Yeah.
I know exactly where your bison. My husband drove by it this morning, dropping off product. He was doing some wholesale deliveries. We drove right by. It's right on the way to Hot Springs. I know exactly where that bison
Yeah,
ranch
it's called
is.
Rome Free Ranch. And
Yeah.
Are they
It
pretty?
must be outside of Whitefish.
I don't see them, but I see the sign.
The closest I get to it is a Zoom call for a board meeting once
Oh my
in a while.
gosh,
So.
that's a small world.
I'll take a steak.
Let's do this vanilla tasting. Becky, what do we have in front of us?
Sure. Well, we're starting with Megan's beautiful Wild Montana Foods vanilla extract, and I kind of wrote out the ingredients here, but maybe you can clarify.
The only ingredients that are in it are vanilla beans. We only use grade A, and we use only beans from 4 countries: Madagascar, grade A's, Uganda, Papua New Guinea, and Tahiti. And I actually brought some samples of the beans I use. And if you get a chance to smell them, I'm really leaning into Uganda right now. The beans are huge, they're oily, they're plush, they're just incredible. And when you smell them concentrated, you think, wow, there is a big difference from country to country. 80% of the beans in the world are from Madagascar, but these emerging markets are really producing some extraordinary beans. And then the only other thing that goes into it is Glacier Distilling vodka. And that's it. And then we age it 12 to 18 months in a cold extraction, and then we bottle.
In like a stainless steel tank or something?
We use glass so I can see it. I only do a gallon at a time, so at any given moment we have 12 gallons extracting, and I can watch them. And then we bottle twice a year, early spring, late summer, because that's kind of when my markets hit. So, yeah.
I would imagine Christmas time is your big thing.
Q3, Q4, people start buying vanilla to start making pumpkin bread. As soon as Trader Joe's puts pumpkin bread on the shelf, my sales explode.
Isn't that funny?
It's crazy. I barely keep up.
My wife's going to be in Uganda in October for her 70th birthday.
Wow. Tell her to bring back some beans. Their beans are
And
extraordinary.
where would she go in Uganda to kind of see them?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't. My co-op gets them for me, and
Okay.
it's the orchid flower only blooms one day, and it has to be hand pollinated, and the curing process is laborious, and that's part of the reason why the beans cost so much.
Yeah.
You have to bourbon cure them, and when I say bourbon cure, it has nothing to do with the alcohol. It's the actual drying process of getting that green bean. It looks like a green bean actually into what we see today to make vanilla out
Kind of
of
a
it.
shriveled brownish
interesting.
black bean.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
And is the name of the bean bourbon?
No, that is the name of the curing process.
Okay.
Bourbon.
So
bourbon
when you see
curing.
bourbon vanilla,
That doesn't
it's
mean
not
it has
really-
bourbon.
doesn't
It's not
mean
related to
in there.
bourbon.
Correct. It's just the drying process. That's all it means.
And when you see Tahitian vanilla, don't they use the bourbon vanilla drying process, or is it
Yes.
a different type of process?
It's the same process, generally speaking. It's you blanch them in boiling water to stop photosynthesis, and then they basically wrap them up in like plastic sheathing, put them out in the sun for 2 to 3 hours every day for weeks, wrap them back up, and that's to keep the moisture, move the moisture from 60% down to 40%. So it's all about consistent
Oh, how
temperature
interesting.
and then getting them this really pliable, oily bean that you see today. Really laborious. And then, of course, they're grown in places where people make $50 a month. But if you're a vanilla grower, you make $100 a month. And if you live in Madagascar, apparently that's a good wage, which sounds crazy, but
Well, if you look at Madagascar, some of the pictures, I think I saw a 60-minute piece on Madagascar. The money over there is pretty impressive.
it is. And the
'Cause-
black market,
Yeah.
you actually tattoo your vanilla beans because the black market is so bad. People will come and steal your
Yeah.
beans in the middle of the night while they're on the vine. So you have to really guard those beans once they start growing.
Well, it's,
Oh, interesting.
It's beautiful. Your vanilla's really tastes lovely. You can
Okay, so how do we go through this tasting, Megan?
Well, generally what I do when I get ready to bottle is I mix a little bit of whipped cream and I put about 2 teaspoons of vanilla in it. And what I'm looking for is it fruity? Is it cherry forward? Is it earthy? Is it warm? Is it robust? What do I want out of that? So when you taste it, what is the application going to be? Am I going to make a buttercream frosting? Am I going to put it in a cake? Am I going to stir vanilla paste into my coffee in the morning? So I look for kind of those warm, earthy notes. I don't want anything that's, bitter, that tastes muddled. So I want something robust and plush.
Right.
I want my vanilla. And I think that 18-month that I brought today is plush. It just goes down so well. And you can't really smell it. It just smells like booze when you smell it in the bottle.
So that's why the vanilla or working it in a whipped cream is a great
Correct.
way to do
So
it.
yeah, have a little taste and see if you can get a little bit of that vanilla and see if you
It's
pick
very,
it up.
the differences are very faint. To me, off the top, I think part of that is because the cream is so fatty, it kind of coats your tongue.
Yeah, yeah.
So you also have it on a sugar cube to smell it, because 70% of our olfactory is smell, right? So
And vanilla that is just a scent that we think of when we think of childhood. It's very nostalgic, and I don't know if you knew this. Vanilla is an aphrodisiac.
Oh.
So you take some of that
I thought
syrup
you were
home
looking cute.
and put a couple drops behind your ears, and happy Father's Day.
The second one we have is the McCormick Pure Vanilla Extract, because that's ubiquitous. You can get that anywhere.
Anywhere.
Yeah. And
when it says pure vanilla extract,
what does that mean?
it's still 40% booze or 38%
Yeah, it's still
booze.
mostly booze, and that 40% is just the 40% alcohol ratio of the alcohol. That's all it is. And then some of them don't do pure. They add vanillin.
Okay, so this one is vanilla bean extractives in water and alcohol. Then the third one we brought was Trader Joe's Pure Bourbon Vanilla Extract, which does not have bourbon in it.
No,
right?
that's just a drying process.
And that's water, organic ethyl alcohol, organic vanilla bean extractives. And
okay. There's a couple more ingredients than mine,
Yeah.
which I don't know if that's a
I
good
like
thing.
number 4, personally.
You
That's
do?
what you're getting to.
Yes, the fourth one is Kroger Imitation Vanilla Flavor.
Isn't that funny?
It's
ouch.
water, sugar, polypropylene glycol, which is a
Petroleum byproduct.
right caramel color, ethyl, and artificial flavor.
Huh.
But
I think it's
Interesting.
because we're so used to having kind of that fake vanilla flavor
Yeah.
that it seemed like what my mind was looking for, rather than I wouldn't be able. Obviously, I can't even tell you the difference between the vanillas. I buy the Nielsen Massey vanilla
Yeah,
generally.
me too.
That's a very good vanilla.
But I also think that it sits in our drawer for years.
And it can, because it's booze. It's mostly booze.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it has almost an
So
indefinite shelf
it will
life.
keep.
It
will.
It does oxidize, though. So I don't feel like we're ever using the freshest vanilla.
Well, I go
Unless
through
you're
it.
opening a new jar.
Yeah,
right?
I go through it. My customers go through it pretty fast when we sell it. But yeah, use up your vanilla. Pour it in your coffee, and you can make all kinds of cocktails with it too.
ooh,
Oh, that's a
You
good
have a
idea.
favorite?
Yeah.
Well, my maple syrup, my favorite is my maple old fashioned. So you take bourbon, a little bit of the vanilla maple syrup, chocolate bitters, and then espresso a little orange peel over the top and around the rim. That's a great cocktail.
yum.
Yeah.
And how do people find you?
They find me at wildmontanafoods.com, which just launched this week, and pineandpalmkitchen.com. I'm on Instagram and Facebook too.
Awesome. Well,
That's
thank you
great.
for coming to
Ah.
Seattle
Thanks.
and having a little staycation.
Yeah.
They stayed here last night.
Oh, really?
Went
Good.
to
Yeah,
Neb
stayed in the
and-
hotel. Yeah, 10 out of 10. We'll stay again.
Oh, that's
Hopefully, it wasn't too noisy.
It was super quiet. The room
Okay.
was incredible. Really nice. Loved
Well,
it.
we had actually, because of the demonstrations going on, we had actually kind of closed up our outdoor dining and all sorts of things last night
Oh, wow.
early in all of our joints. And so that was probably why it was a little quiet.
It was very quiet. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you all.
And I look forward to trying this. I've always been a fan of the bean paste, the vanilla bean paste,
Yeah,
because I love the look of the little
Oh, that's
bean.
there's
beautiful.
the maple syrup, and we hot pack that whole bean in every one. And I am leaving a vanilla paste for whoever wins the trivia contest. I'm sending home a jar of my vanilla paste.
Love that.
Wow.
So-
I think I'm going to win. Love that. Megan Wilson, founder of Pine and Palm Kitchen and Wild Montana Foods.
Thank you.
Okay, Brigitte, you've been out up
you,
in the
Megan.
San Juan shrimping.
Yep.
And when we come back, I want to know the difference between a prawn and a shrimp.
Okay.
On Cairo Radio, it's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM. I'm going into a diabetic coma from all the sugar cubes. I believe the island.
Must leave the island like Survivor.
How was that crap, everybody?
Oh, thanks. No, I'll talk about it on the segment.
Are you, do you buy the bait or you use captive?
Buy the bait, buy the kibble, the shrimp bait, and then we get a oil. It's a fish oil that they call shrimp oil. And then I go up to a grocery outlet, get mackerel. Mackerel.
Oh, mackerel, okay. So I've tried thinking food technique. It doesn't work like they say.
No, not at all. And we, it's amazing because it's so funny. I was sitting on the deck and I have this little Jack Russell Terrier, and I'm like, what is the dog doing? The dog was in the bucket eating the shrimp bait. I was like, ooh, just her muzzle. I was like, ugh.
What?
Let's not talk about it.
No.
How did everyone like their vanilla tasting? I found it difficult to try all the different flavors. You could. Plus, we put that breakfast in front of you at the same time.
Yeah, I had to make sure I had a lot of water. Unlike you, I thought the Kroger was not good.
Yeah, I'm sure you're right.
The second one, and the second one was kind of chemically.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
1 and 3.
After
yeah.
I retested, I went back to 1. So I don't know where that. I don't even know what that is.
That's
Probably
Megan's.
That's the good
McCormick's.
one.
No, that was Megan's.
Well, that was
number
Megan's.
1. Wild Montana foods.
We're back here in the kitchen on Cairo
Okay.
Radio, moving things along. Finishing up hour 1 here with Bridget Charters, our one of the chef instructors here at the Hot Stove.
Hi, Tom.
Also, one of the, how do I say it, busiest, I don't want to say oldest, but you participate in a lot of senior sports, right? Well, I don't mean that as a negative. I'm proud of you for doing all that.
I know. I was thinking about you. Like,
Aren't you a ladies champion, like senior ladies champion tennis player?
no, we weren't. It wasn't the seniors. It was 40 plus.
Oh, 40 plus.
We won
I thought it was
nationals.
50 plus. Yeah, you won
No,
nationals.
I'm on a 55 plus team
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. I'm a senior. I'm not embarrassed about it.
I know,
Although I never take when the cashier says, "Do you want the senior discount today?" I just give them a snarl and walk away.
That's funny. That's funny. No, I was thinking about you with golf because Spencer's back in town and we were talking about
Golf, you
going
really
golfing.
notice it as you get older. Duke Moscript is here today, and he's a golfer. I don't know if he notices it because he's in a little better shape than I am, but I really have noticed my distance trimming up a bit. And I wasn't long to begin with, so yeah, it's super sad. All right, so you're last night you played tennis. You came in crippled today.
I did. Well, we
And
have this.
Yesterday day you were out shrimping.
No, this just a few days ago on the
Okay.
weekend up in the San Juans.
You're a busy woman.
Yeah. I mean,
Tell us about the shrimping part.
well, we have, it's ironic. Rick Steves' number 3, Dave Airline, who started, there were 3 guys apparently that were working with Rick in the beginning, and one of them's Dave. And Dave and his wife, Yena, we got to know him because our sons were in preschool together. And my husband overheard Dave's wife, who's Danish, speaking to her son.
It's
I
a
know, long
2-hour
story.
show,
I'm going really
Bridget.
quick.
2 hour show.
Anyway,
Yeah.
they kept telling us about their place up in the San Juans. Well, it's Decatur Head. And it's
near
this,
Spencer Spit.
it's right near Spencer Spit, just one island over, and we always blaze by Spencer Spit because it's so beautiful. Anyway, we go up shrimping. We started crabbing, and shrimping's usually in the spring. And you go out, you got to have a boat, and you got to have a pot puller, and the traps are heavier and more significant than a crab trap.
Uh-huh.
You can't buy those flexible folding jobs that you get for crab. You've got to have a large, heavy shrimp.
That's why you need a pot puller, because they're too heavy to draw up.
Correct. And then you also put weights in the bottom. You anchor weights in the bottom because you're dropping these shrimp pots somewhere between 3 and 500 feet.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, it's amazing. And so what you're doing, we got a couple of, everybody's got their hidey hole that they go to.
Uh-huh.
And the first time we went just north of Roche Harbor off of Spiden Island, and it was a mosh pit of boats. It was just like, what's going on? And next thing you know, our pot was tangled with somebody else's and in their propeller, and because there's all kinds
Did pot rage happen?
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
That was our first time, and lost a pot. It was like, oh my God. So we've gotten much better, and it's rather scientific. So you kind of troll around and check your screen for, you could see clouds of shrimp on the radar.
Because you've got a fancy screen. Not a lot of people have those.
Right. It's
Awesome.
really nice. And so you just go slow. And
It's called cheating.
Well, this particular spot that we were tipped off by was somebody from Decatur Head. It was like, this place is, the spot we go is amazing. Anyway, so there's some images that Becky, are those on YouTube?
I'll post them on the blog. But
Okay.
They look full. Your pots look very full.
Oh my goodness. And
Yeah.
so each license is allowed 80 shrimp on that particular day.
Uh-huh.
And so if you've got 6 or 8 people on the boat, it's a lot of shrimp.
That's a lot of shrimp.
Yeah, it's really delicious stuff. And so it's amazing when they come up because the pot, they're just swimming around in the pot, and it's all about your bait. And so my husband goes up to Grocery Outlet up by your house there and gets the canned.
Please don't ever put those two things together.
No, I like going in there. They have some kind of, it's fun walking around
I don't
there.
go in there.
You don't?
It's not near my house.
It's close.
Okay.
It's close. As the crow flies, it's pretty close. Anyway, it's fun to go in there and see. Anyway, they have cans of mackerel, and those go into our shrimp base. So there's this shrimp kibble that they sell, and then you buy shrimp oil, and then you do the mackerel.
Or you could do like I do and just buy the shrimp.
And then the potato flakes. Yeah, they're gold.
And
Shrimp.
potato flakes.
And that binds everything together, but you got to let it sit for a day or two before you load it into the cones that hold the shrimp bait. And that oily mess really attracts the shrimp.
I guess.
And so then when they come up, it's amazing. And so most fishermen will head the
So
shrimp.
you're telling me the last thing those shrimp eat before you eat those shrimp is that oily, gross cat food mess.
Well, my Jack Russell Terrier really thought it was delicious.
So why do they call them spot prawns instead of spot shrimp? Because they're really shrimp, right? What's the difference between a shrimp and a prawn?
Well, Becky was so nice. Becky, you want to tell us?
Sure. Shrimp and prawns are scientifically different species. Shrimp belong to the same family as crayfish, lobsters, and crabs. Prawns are biologically separate from shrimp, but spot prawns are classified as shrimp. Who knew?
Right. I mean, that's their real. They should
That's-
be called spot shrimp.
Spot shrimp, exactly.
Spot shrimp, yeah.
And they have a different body structure. Shrimp have 2 pairs of claw-like legs, where prawns have 3. Shrimp are more common in saltwater, while prawns are often found in freshwater.
Freshwater, yeah.
And then another key way to tell is, I know I've been shrimping before for spot prawns. Shrimp carry their fertilized eggs on their bodies, while prawns release them in the water. So you're not going to get prawn roe.
Right. And I always worried when I got a big pile of spot prawns in, I always worried about that roe because you're taking the next generation along with this
Right.
generation.
So we go through the pot and pitch those back.
You
Anything
do,
with
because
eggs on
I've
it.
been told that it's not an issue.
It's not an issue in certain areas. So right now, the marine areas in Seattle, outside Elliott Bay, will remain closed all year. But up north, they're thriving. So they really they watch these fisheries. And Monterey Bay Aquarium classifies shrimp as a best choice. Spot shrimp as the best choice sustainable option.
Correct.
Because
yeah.
they're paying attention.
And they like that the fishermen will report. So that night, I think my husband reported that night on what their catch was. And so they monitor all that stuff, and they'll either leave it open or they'll close it. So there's another opening coming up in the San Juans because there's just so many areas of the San Juan. What I worry about is all the broken gear that ends up.
Yeah,
you know.
you said you lost a pot yourself, right?
Yeah,
So that's down
yeah.
on the bottom somewhere.
Yeah. So, but it's amazing when you get the shrimp. Most fishermen will remove the head, and you bag them with salt water, and just little Ziploc bags, and then you freeze them that way in the salt water.
Okay.
And it really keeps them nice. And then I like to leave the heads on, so Chris will bring back a batch with the heads on. The guys went out the first day, and then I went out the second day. And so head on, I have a big giant saute pan, and I just quick saute those with garlic and a few chili flakes, and then either they go on pasta or we eat them just right then and there, or we skewer them and just quick cook them on the grill. Delicious.
For Harry Yoshimura used to preach to me that, you know, if you're not going to eat them while they're, or cook them while they're alive, like maybe you would a live crab or a live lobster or whatever, you have to take the head off because the enzymes in the
it really
in the
changes
in the
them.
head softens the tail meat into like a paste rather than it being nice and firm when
It's
you cook
true.
it. So
It's
it
true.
is something to think about when you're shrimping. Is if you're not going to use them right away, just go ahead and take the head off.
Right.
Or you'll see them in some sushi bars. They literally keep aquariums up there, them on the bar itself, and so that when you order them, you're ordering a live shrimp.
So I called around a bit because not everybody has a fancy boat like Bridget. So if you want to go get spot prawns right now, Seattle Fish Guys has them, Lamb Seafood in the International District, Pure Food Fish Market, Wild Salmon Seafood Market, Wajimaya in Bellevue, not at Met Market or Town and Country in Ballard. But those
Town and Country Central has them, don't they?
Oh.
In the
Some-
tanks?
they-
when I
sometimes they
called
have them
yesterday-
live, but I did not see them the last time I
But
was.
they say call ahead for sure.
Yeah.
And you can get some yourself.
Perfect.
So delicious.
And they're about 10 to 16, right, size-wise?
Oh, with the head on.
With the head on.
Head on.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
The tails themselves, if you're just buying the tails,
Tiny.
are more like
20.
25, 35.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And before we get off this topic, I had my first beautiful Copper River King this last week. I had it 2 nights in a row. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Love that stuff.
For 75
In
a
our
pound.
second hour, we're going to talk with Duke of Duke Restaurants and Heather Anderson of Damsel Cellars. We're also going to talk with Rick Steves. How exciting is that? And, of course, trivia. Why not?
Absolutely. Wouldn't,
All right,
wouldn't
here we
miss
go.
it.
Hot Stove Society, 97.3 FM.
And so, Duke, you'll be on this mic, and you'll be on this. I'll jump off. Maybe Nico can get you set up.
Excuse me.
It's been a year. Yeah, let's do it. All right. Well, you know, since I saw you last, I joined Seattle. So now I'm at Broadmoor and Seattle. So you're over Aldera. Last time I walked and carried at Aldera, that's a tough road to hoe.
Skip this here. You can't see it now. This will be on YouTube.
Hello.
Hi, nice to see you. Bridget, this way. Last time I saw you, you were on here with your chef. Your corporate chef.
Yeah, Bill, he passed
Bill.
away.
Yeah.
Now we have Alan Caraco, who used to be a chef for us.
Oh, no kidding.
For FSA, then Harbor Food.
Oh, no kidding.
So he's back.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I mean, he's always been a part of the family. His wife is the GM at Union Restaurant. So
Oh, no kidding. Oh, that's awesome.
Please, thank you.
Absolutely.
oh, oh that. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you. Yeah.
let's
thank
start
you.
drinking.
I'll be ready for a nap.
There you go.
Here we go.
All right, time for a little.
Okay.
Did you meet Bridget?
Not officially.
Bridget,
Yes.
Heather.
Heather, nice to meet you.
too. Thank you for having us.
I got back from my club in Scotland.
Yeah.
And had 20 rounds of golf in 20 days over there.
You did? Oh, that's a lot of golf.
It's awesome. Yeah, I'm a walker and carrier, so it's good exercise for me.
Well, it is. That's a lot of
Although
golf.
over there I have caddies. So
Well, you
He had to
probably
burn
played-
off
you
all
probably
that-
played everywhere.
I did.
You had to
All over
burn off
Scotland?
Italy.
My first 10 days was on the East Coast, so we did all those courses. The St. Andrews and all that Carnoustie, Kings Barnes.
Right.
Dunbarney was the surprise, and then went down to Sicily, over to Lisbon, up to Bordeaux, and then back up to Scotland for the last 10 days. And I have a membership at Loch Lomond Golf Club.
Oh.
And have you been there?
Yes.
Yes, it's beautiful. And so we played out of there, and it did Troon and
Oh, yeah.
Dundonald and lots of Loch Lomond. So
Is it Loch Lomond? Is that the Lyle Anderson
yeah,
deal? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's quite spectacular,
Yeah.
if I do say so myself.
Yeah.
My family's from we're the Calhouns from Luss. If you ever get to stop in Luss,
Our
there's a
clubhouse
little
is
town
the Calhoun Castle.
there. There you go.
That's your family?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, I mean, didn't we all come from a clan at some point?
I'm from the Douglas clan.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm from the Musgrave clan. My great-grandfather was the mayor of Edinburgh.
Really?
Yeah. We have photographs of him sitting on the throne with all the epaulets and all the stuff.
She's gorgeous. My daughter's middle name is Calhoun, just to carry down the maternal line of the clan. Yeah. She's not a big fan of that, but
She's not?
just the name. She's like, what? Yeah.
You know the whole area.
Yeah.
Our club itself is 600 acres, but they own the real estate up on all the Trossachs there up on the hillsides.
Yeah.
Oh, that is beautiful.
Luss Real Estate Company. Hopefully they send you checks.
We're not that close.
No.
Yeah.
So you should sometime. You probably could get in there if you wanted to go. I mean, you have to be a member here, but if you've got the lineage, maybe you can just get in.
Yeah, maybe. It's a good
'Cause
idea.
we have 52 rooms there. It's a great place to stay.
Huh. That's a great idea.
So you're connected to the Loch Lomond.
Yeah, to the people. Yeah, our it's kind of fun. You know how every clan has its own little statement
Yeah.
of what they do. Ours is if I can.
That's not
Not
dynamic.
real. No.
No.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
good.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Give it a go.
Yeah.
Anything else? All good?
We ready?
We are back here for hour number 2 in the Hot Stove Society radio show, coming to you from the Hotel Andra in downtown Seattle. We're on the second floor. All the way in the back is where our school is. Beautiful studios, if I do say so myself. I love it here. I do a lot of classes here.
Yep.
And so
A lot of private events.
Duke Moscript of Duke's Restaurants. Do you call yourself Chowder Houses anymore? There's just Duke Restaurants.
Duke Seafood.
Duke Seafood. And Heather Anderson of Damsel Cellars. They're both here, the founders of Duke's Damsel on a Train Foundation. Whew. It's a big foundation. How did you come up with that one?
Well, that one's pretty straightforward. We had Duke's Seafood, Damsel Cellars, and then we joined forces with Pat Monahan from the band Train. And we just thought, well, we've got all of these names coming together, and that seemed like the simple answer to it.
There you go. So tell us about it. Tell us what you're doing these days. You brought us some wine. I know that.
Well, we're raising money to restore wild salmon. And we've been pretty successful at it. We just recently did a salmon soiree and raised over $700,000.
Wow.
And for certain projects, and I'll let Heather tell you about what we discovered, or some scientists discovered about chemicals that are in all of our tires.
Right.
And-
They're working on that, aren't they?
Yeah, Heather, tell them a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we met up with some scientists, some chemists and biologists from University of Washington, Dr. Ed Kaloja and Jen McIntyre from Washington State University, and they were able to figure out why salmon were dying so quickly during big rain events. And essentially they were able to find this chemical and isolate this chemical called 6-PPDQ. which is a preservative in the tires. And when we have rain events, all of that washes off into the storm drains, and those go directly into Puget Sound. So one of our efforts is to fund boxes of rain, which are essentially bioswales that they put on downspouts in major high traffic areas, such as the Aurora Bridge. And so these big pieces of again, essentially vegetation and soil and gravel that help filter out the chemicals. And so they put them out right on the downspouts.
I've seen those felt pads that they use also. Does that lend it too?
Yeah, these are a little bit more organic because they're handling so many hundreds of gallons of water at a time that's coming down into the Sound. So part of our effort is to fund these boxes of rain and put them at the major overpasses that go over the salmon waterways.
The problem is we need about 1,000 of these rain boxes.
Are you saying rain as in RAIN boxes?
Yeah,
Yes.
they're big. They're like 6x6 filters, basically, and they kill 97% of this chemical.
No
Now,
kidding.
this chemical kills coho salmon sometimes within minutes.
Yeah.
Really?
And they couldn't figure out why the coho are dying in Puget Sound. They couldn't get out to the ocean for 3 or 4 years, and they discovered that was the reason. An alarming death rate. So these rain boxes, but $10,000 each. That's $10 million just for Washington. So it's expensive, and so that's what we're doing is raising money.
Right.
Are you
Because the
guys
salmon are actually going extinct, and hardly anyone knows that. There used to be 16 million wild salmon that went up the Columbia River every year. Now there's only about 500,000. So the salmon are going extinct. There's no question about it. So, and the government doesn't have the money, so we are going to raise a massive amount of private capital. Otherwise, the salmon are not going to be here.
Right. And is it just the coho, or is it all species of salmon?
All species.
All species.
Yeah. So especially the king salmon. They're in real danger. And the steelhead.
And are you guys focusing on bridges specifically for the start, or
Say that again?
are you focusing on bridges? You mentioned the
It's
Aurora
everything.
Bridge.
No, there's projects all over the state. Habitat loss is all the rivers are really damaged all up and down the coast.
And
we-
so it's the storm drains you guys are working with?
Well, that's one thing. That's only one thing.
Oh, okay.
So
mean, there's-
habitat restoration is part of it.
Look at the
as well.
culverts. The culverts, the state of Washington has a federal court order to repair or replace 400 culverts. And the culverts are the passageway for the salmon to get under the roads, under the highways, to get to their spawning grounds. Well, some of these culverts are $20 million each. The total cost to the state is $3.6 billion with a B. They don't have the money. So
And neither do you.
well, we're gonna go get the money, because there are foundations, there's organizations that do have a great deal of money, and they just don't know that salmon are in trouble. One of our jobs is to build this awareness so people realize there is a real problem.
That's
Well,
amazing.
As someone who works a lot with salmon, both on the kitchen table, plate, and also as worked hard on the Pebble Mine situation up in Alaska. That's something. Neither one of these things had I ever heard of before. So congratulations on getting to work.
Yeah.
All right, tell us about the wine that you've made to go with this project.
Yeah, so we make 2 wines in collaboration with Duke's Seafood Restaurants. So at Damsel Cellars, we've partnered with Duke's to create 2 wines. The first is called Upriver Red, and that is a Cabernet Sauvignon. It's got a little bit of Malbec in it, and that's from Candy Mountain AVA, or agricultural area over in Yakima Valley. And then the second one, which goes incredibly well with a blueberry corn salad, is our Sauvignon Blanc. So it's a 2024 Sauvignon Blanc, 100% Sauvignon Blanc, and this is from Horse Heaven Hills McNary Vineyard. Both of these wines are certified Sustainable Washington, which is a newer certification program here in the state. And also the red wine is certified with Salmon Safe, which is another organization that we partner with to ensure that the vineyards don't erode, the chemicals don't get into the streams, etc. So we're trying to bring all these things together through the wine, and you can buy both of these wines at all 6 of Duke's Seafood Restaurant locations, and
very
$1
good.
of every glass goes towards saving the salmon.
Oh, perfect.
Nice. Wow, that's
So
amazing.
we'll be drinking the Sauvignon Blanc this morning. It's a very good breakfast wine.
You know, it's this is grown right by our farm.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Horse Heaven Hills, if you don't know, when you get up in the morning and see the sunrise on the Horse Heavens, it's better than the sunset on the Horse, although both are beautiful. I love that sunrise on the Horse Heavens because the sun's coming out of the east, and the Horse Heavens kind of run east to west a bit, and so it's just it's a beautiful area. Golden hills this time of year of the Horse Heavens. Unfortunately, they do catch on fire once in a while, and they become the Black Hills of the Horse Heavens.
So are these wines specifically at the restaurants, or can we find them in a
Yes.
retail location?
We offer these wines only at the restaurants, so they're exclusive to Duke's restaurants at this
Well,
time.
the Duke restaurants are popular.
They are.
That's great.
Well, and you can buy retail out of restaurants now, can't
Yeah.
you? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, you sure can.
Used
In
to be
fact-
you had to open the bottle before you could leave, but I don't think that's the case anymore.
Yeah, we have periodically run some campaigns where you can buy these online and have them shipped. So we'll keep you posted on when we open that up again. Kind of like the Copper River salmon, limited time.
Yeah.
And then what kind of advertising are you guys doing to get the general public to find out about the salmon?
That's one of the challenges is the awareness campaign that we're going to launch, which will be social media and because that's the least expensive and that probably has the greatest impact. But it's a big job because there are so many. I mean, I've asked the question of friends of mine for 20 years. I said, "Do you know that salmon are going extinct?" They look at me like I'm crazy. People
That's
just
amazing.
are not aware. We're
Right.
insiders, so we know,
Right.
but the other people don't.
Yeah, it's interesting living in Ballard. Tom and I both are there, and it's been in turmoil because they are putting in this massive pipe underneath Ballard that holds all of that rainwater coming off of that slope that is Ballard. And so it's a catch basin for Fremont, Wallingford, and Ballard. And so it's holding.
But is that particular unit filtering out this chemical? That's
Yeah.
I don't think it is. I think it's
I don't know
no.
the answer to that. It's a good
it's
question.
taking the stormwater over to Magnolia into that same one that we have in Blue Ridge, right? They're
Right.
doing those around the city.
And I believe they are filtering chemicals out. They're held in holding tanks and then pumped over to Magnolia.
Yeah, and the big
So-
issue, right, is a heavy rain. It overflows the current operating system, so that a lot of that goes right straight into the sound then, which is what they're trying to
That's right.
prevent.
Yeah, we need to get some rain boxes over there. There are very few of them. This has just really only been, I think, maybe 3 rain boxes so far. And
Yeah.
Oh, really?
We've got a 997 to go.
Yeah, those are a little different than these projects. This one's the one down on the cut down here has been it's been going on for years. Trying to get that thing built. So
Yeah.
anyway,
It's great, though. I mean,
Duke, tell us a little bit about your restaurants, and I'm sure you might have some Copper River going on in your place.
Well, we've been buying Copper River Coho for years and years. We did a tasting one time, and it turned out that our guests like Coho better than King. And
Really?
I like King, of course. It's my favorite. But our guests like the Coho.
I did that in a class here last week. We had a sockeye against King tasting, just salt and pepper. So
Yeah.
it's a time when you're doing those comparisons, you really have to make it very simple.
how did you cook it?
Just pan fried.
Oh,
Pan fried. And the King went out of the 40 people that were here, 39 people liked the King the best over the sockeye, which is funny because the sockeye was delicious.
Right.
But it's just a fat content issue, right? It just
Yeah.
tastes more moist in your mouth.
Yep.
And yeah.
Yep.
It's not like the sockeye tasted bad. It was delicious.
It's delicious, but
But if you're going to put them against each other.
yeah.
Well, thank you. Thanks for the good work that you're doing. Damsel's Cellars, Duke's Seafood Restaurants. Go in, support them, buy some of this wine, put some money towards these rain boxes that we need 1,000 of.
And you can go to our website, dukesdamselonatrain.com, and donate if you'd like.
Straight up. Donate.
Great.
Yeah. Perfect.
great. Well, that's
Thanks so
awesome.
much.
Thank you.
Yeah,
When we
thank
come
you.
back, Rick Steves is going to join us from his kitchen in Edmonds, Washington. On Cairo Radio, it's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
Yeah, come on around this way.
We'll jump 5 minutes into his space. If we
Perfect.
do that, but that's okay. Okay. All right. All right. You know, we called down to check on somebody who has a reservation. They were calling down to make sure they knew the times. And my buddies.
This one?
Any chance anything has opened up this summer?
Sorry.
And they said,
You can totally do that.
weekend July 11th. So we're going down the floor.
And if he talks too much, we might bump it, but I think we're good.
Okay. Oh, she's back.
I'm back. If you need more
Bridget, we need Bridget.
aphrodisiacs.
We're going to jump right into trivia here and then finish up with Rick Steves. Welcome back to the Hot Stove Society Show on Cairo. I hope this wonderful spring weather has inspired you to dust off your grill and do some outdoor cooking. It certainly has me.
Nice.
We use, of course, a lot of Rub with Love when we cook because we make it
Yes.
right here in Ballard. When it's time to restock, please visit one of our thousands of retailers around the country like Camino Plaza IGA, Camino Island, Sweet Peas Mercantile in Enumclaw, or Gemini Fish with locations in Issaquah and Cle Elum, or Wild Salmon Fish Market right down there at Fisherman's Terminal, which is where I see it all the time because that's where we pick up a lot of fish for Hot Stove Society. Becky, how do we play this game, and who's playing, and how do I win? Please.
Sure.
Please.
Well,
I'm
you
tired
won
of getting
last
crushed.
week. You won last week, mister.
Whatever.
All right. Well, we've got a lovely guest, Megan Wilson from Pine and Palm Kitchen, who will be contestant number 2. So each of you will get 5 questions, and the winner will pick out someone in the audience to get a 3-pack of spice blends and a beautiful bottle of vanilla paste from Wild Montana Foods
Yes.
for Megan.
Wow.
Flathead honey in it.
There you go.
Amazing.
Okay, Bridget, you ready?
I'm ready.
What is the name of the secret, tastiest chunk of wild salmon which is under the fin right below the head?
Cheek.
The collar.
Tom's the collar. Right. Cheeks or halibut.
All right. Number
No,
2.
salmon have cheeks too. Don't think
But
they
they're-
don't. It's not the same.
It's not
Right.
the tastiest bit. No.
I like the belly.
You know how I know
I
that?
think it's the tastiest bit.
I watched your video.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and you said it was the
Where I
tastiest.
went
Oh,
right through
wow.
the skin with my
Scoring
knife.
points.
Yeah.
Well,
Becky's scoring
Overlook.
points.
Overlook.
I have a
that.
video on Met Market's site right now, and it's got like 40,000 views.
Well,
Really?
yeah.
Yeah.
Number 2, as you know, Mexican chilies often undergo a name transformation when they're dried, reflecting changes in the flavor and culinary use. Last week, Tom knew that a jalapeno pepper, when dried and smoked, becomes a chipotle pepper. Bridget, what does a fresh poblano pepper become when dried?
Ancho.
Ancho it is. Good job.
You know why it's mine? Because it anchos.
Terry heard that how many times?
Yes, exactly.
Yes. Number 3, last week, Howard Lev, founder of Mama Lil's Peppers, was on the show. Did he name his company after his mother, grandmother, or pet goat?
Mama Lil's.
I didn't listen. I
goat
apologize. I'm going to guess the
What were
goat.
you doing while you were shrimping out
I
there?
know.
They
I
weren't
know. I
listening
was
to
over
us.
here cooking.
Actually, he didn't mention this.
I'm gonna
I got
say
it
the
from his
goat.
book. No, it's after his mother, Lillian.
Very nice. Okay.
Okay, number 4.
Tom, it's looking good for you.
This one, this is a buddy of yours. When peeling an onion, does Jacques Pepin remove the flaky outer skin, or does he take off the whole first layer with it?
What do you?
Does Jacques Pepin, does he peel just the flaky skin off the onion, or does he take the whole first layer?
That seems awfully wasteful for
It doesn't
Jacques.
seem like him, does it?
No.
But what's your answer?
False.
It's true. He takes off, and
Oh.
it makes them much easier to peel.
Well,
He
it's a
puts the
better.
rest into
It's
stock,
a
I
better part
guess.
of the onion, and
Yeah.
it just goes in the stock, so you're not wasting it.
Okay, final question. This is from Carol Bausch.
Oh.
Manager of our Rub with Love line.
Yes. She's awesome.
And golfer.
Multiple choice. Where were tater tots created? Were they created 1933 Chicago's World Fair as a side to a Chicago dog? By an employee of Ore-Ida to use leftover potatoes from fry production in 1953, or from the Shi-Sen Potato Group of China in 1945 at the end of World War II?
I'm going to go with number 1.
It's actually by an employee of Ore-Ida.
I was going to go with number 2. Yeah.
Bridget, it's not your
Okay,
week, but you know,
not my week.
you
It's
got
fine.
a lot of shrimp.
I'm not
but-
going to pout like Tom does.
Did you go over?
She got one.
Oh, you got one. I thought
Yep.
you went over.
She got the
Ancho.
ancho chili.
We
Okay.
did bagel our opponents yesterday on
Did
one
ya?
of the sets. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, Megan.
6-0.
Oh, those were hard. Oh no, I'm so scared.
Well, you got a good chance here. Number one, in addition to chicken, what are the essential ingredients in chicken piccata?
Chicken piccata, capers, lemons, garlic.
Whoa, 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 whoa. She only asked for one. You're showing off right now.
Bravo. Number two, what does the Italian term scallopini refer to in cooking?
Scallopini. Gosh, I don't know. Not a good Italian cook.
You could be like Leslie Kelly and just put a scallop gravy on top of something.
Yeah.
Oh, no, oyster. Ooh.
Oyster, yeah.
I don't know, some kind of seafood.
It's-
How you pound it thin. How you
It's
pound the veal thin.
Thinly sliced meat. You got it. Was that with a little
There
help
wasn't
from the
any help
audience?
from the audience at all.
All right, number three. The fresher the wild salmon, the harder or easier it is to remove the pin bones.
The harder, and I watched Tom's video, so
you
I know
did. You're
that.
one of the 40,
And
41,000.
I did pin bones the night before using Copper River salmon, and I nearly killed my husband with all the pin bones in it.
I did the sockeye last night, and I took
Yeah.
out all I took because I was having guests. I took the time to. It's
really hard.
Because you were having guests. You wouldn't do that for yourself or your husband.
Not really.
Yeah.
No, not really. All right, number four. Clafoutis is a French classic dessert made of a simple batter and fruit, traditionally cherries. Does clafoutis contain a crust?
No, it's just poured in a pan.
You got it. Whoa, 4 out
That's
of
Chef
4.
Chef and the Chef's favorite dessert
The
was a
clafoutis?
whole cherry, like
Oh,
So
that's right. He
good.
He said the
pit
pit.
in.
Pit. Oh.
I don't want to
Pit
lose my
in.
teeth.
Well, if you know the pits are in, you
That's
tread
true.
lightly.
You work around.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
like
and
an
come
olive.
to Montana and get flathead cherries. It'll be flathead cherry
Ooh.
season in about 3 weeks.
Nice. Final question. Chef Boyardee was a real person who immigrated to the U.S. in 1914. He became famous for canned goods like beefaroni and SpaghettiOs. True or false, Chef Boyardee catered the wedding of President Woodrow Wilson.
Gosh, that's so bizarre. I'll say true.
5 out of 5.
Oh my gosh. I'm buying a lotto ticket.
So you got 5 out of 5. Bridget, how many did you get?
I got one. I got one.
You want to give
Okay,
me a
Tom.
job?
I could be in serious trouble here.
Okay. Number one, Elvis's bread pudding is a warm, custardy dish inspired by the king's favorite sandwich. Sweet, salty, and indulgent without going over the top. What are the key ingredients?
Peanut butter and bananas.
Wow, you got it. And bacon.
Don't act so surprised.
You know Elvis. I knew that about you. Okay.
I
Good
don't
job.
know Elvis.
Didn't you do an Elvis class?
No. Oh, yeah, I did inspired by
Yes.
Memphis.
Yes.
Christmas,
Okay.
New Year's Eve, yeah.
All right. Number two, multiple choice. In Southern cooking, what sets a blackberry doobie apart from a traditional cobbler? It's served cold, it uses dumplings instead of a crust, or it features wild local greens or weeds.
Alto number 2, and it has THC in it.
No, number two is correct. It uses dumplings instead of crust. And if you want to put in THC, that's up to the chef.
Yeah.
Good job. Number three, true or false? During World War II, the Nazis planned to assassinate Winston Churchill using exploding chocolate bars.
Of course they did.
They did.
Yeah.
It's true.
It's true?
Yeah, British intelligence
my
uncovered
God.
the plot where bombs were hidden inside chocolate
you get
bars
these-
wrapped in gold foil. When a piece was broken off, it triggered a delayed explosion. But fortunately, the plan was foiled before it got carried out.
Becky,
I
where do
think
you
Israel-
find these,
Israel
Becky?
just did that with pagers, didn't they?
Oh, with chocolate bars?
No, with pagers.
Oh, yes. Oof. Number four. What is the name of the molecular gastronomy technique that transforms liquids into delicate spheres with a thin-like membrane?
Jim, what is the name of that? Spherification.
Spherification.
Yes.
Okay, we're going in a tie
Good
with
job.
Megan.
All right.
True or false? Chicken nuggets were created in 1980 by McDonald's and soon became one of the top-selling menu offerings with the highest profit margin.
That was in
100%
the
true.
That was
It's
in New York Times.
False. They were created in 1960 by Robert Baker of Cornell University as a way to use up extra chicken. Thank you, Carol.
There are
You stumped him.
videos about how those are done.
Oh, really? Well, you
Yeah.
can bring it up with Carol.
Yeah. Just saying.
Okay, good job, Megan.
Way to go, Megan.
Megan, nice.
Megan decided she wanted to give me her vanilla paste. So sorry, audience members. If you want to be part of the show, you can join the community on YouTube Live at Tom Douglas & Co. or buy a ticket to join us in the studio at hotstovesociety.com. Show is produced by Becky Guzak. Our technical wizard today is Nico Caballero. And our talented editor at Cairo is Sean Don't Call Me Del Torre. Did you know that?
I did know that.
Yeah.
We love Sean.
If you miss any episode of our Hot Stove Society show in Cairo, you can listen via podcast. Just subscribe with your favorite podcast app.
Thanks for listening.
Happy Father's Day.
And we'll do the promos last because Rick's on. So we'll jump to Rick Steves now, and then we'll do the promos last.
If you're watching on YouTube, we're going to jump back to Rick Steves now and do those two segments.
But Nico's not on. We're not on yet with Rick, but you can see me. Can you hear me, Rick? Oh, I'm on. Rick, can you hear me? Nope, he can't hear me, Nico. Yeah, I'm off. So, Tom, if you say something, can Rick hear?
Hello, Rick.
Nope.
You're muted. Do you hear me? Can you hear me? No.
Can you hear us now, Rick? Nope. There you go, Tom.
Good on time.
Hello?
Can you hear us now, Rick?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Here we go. Yes,
Can
we
you-
can hear you.
That's good. And I can hear you.
Can we turn up the volume a little bit, Nico? Mike? Thank you for your patience.
Sure.
We'll
Yeah,
fix
so
it.
are we, what's the plan?
What's the plan? We're going to have two segments. We'll just do them right back to back. We'll do the first one is 10 minutes, talking about your background, and then the second one will be
Cooking.
talking about what you're cooking in your kitchen.
All right. I'm not cooking much in my kitchen, but I'm
in
eating a lot of
general, what your European travels have inspired home.
So now is my mic good? The
You
volume's
sound
good?
great.
And then my frame is good. It's mostly audio, but you can have a video backup or something like that.
Yeah, it'll be on YouTube. So
Okay.
you can be seen right now.
Great. Cool.
Thank God you have clothes on, Rick.
Yeah, you're lucky you didn't
Well,
call
you don't know it's on the bottom. You just
COVID Zoom meetings.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Right.
I know Tom's rubbing off on me. I gotta stop.
Okay.
What happened there?
Okay, we're gonna go on right now.
All right, we're back here in the hot stove kitchen. Every Saturday and Sunday. Thank you so much. If you ever want to come join us live, you're welcome to come on Thursday mornings when we tape typically 9 to 11 on Thursday mornings here in the studios of the Hot Stove Society Kitchens. All right. We're going to jump right into Rick Steves. He's our pal that lives just north of here up in Edmonds and has been traveling Europe for over 100 days a year for a long time. And Rick, an old pal of yours, I have one question later in maybe in our interview. Mary Campbell, who I tend to see when I'm in Paris.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen or heard of Mary lately?
Not for a while.
Not for a while. She's a sweetheart.
Yeah.
Tell us about what you're doing, your latest travels in Europe, and how do you choose where to eat?
Oh, well, my main thing when I'm in Europe is to research and update my guidebooks. And then out of that comes good material for my TV scripts and for the tours that we take around Europe. And, eating is a bigger and bigger part of our travels. And I think as we get older and a little more appreciative of the fine points of life and have a little more money, we focus on that. And I've really prioritized for the restaurant listings in my books. So every night I've got a local food guide and a list of restaurants to visit and try new things and get updated on what's happening in different cultures around Europe and put that into my guidebooks so travelers can eat better.
Are there some basic rules that you use when you're picking restaurants out there? I mean, obviously, most of them we probably haven't been to before.
Right.
There are some little guides that people can think about when they choose a restaurant.
Yeah, well, you hit it right there, Tom. Places we've never been to before. Most tourists go to restaurants that don't worry about return clientele. They just pay high rent to be on a high-profile spot, and they snare travelers with big signs in their language that say no frozen food. What I like to do is find a low-rent place filled with a hearty, enthusiastic energy of local eaters with a small handwritten menu. And I like a small handwritten menu in one language because small means they're offering a good value but still making money. One language, they're targeting locals, not tourists. And handwritten, it's shaped by what's fresh in the marketplace. And I just think it's really important, and that's sort of a very fundamental thing about eating well anywhere, but especially for me in Europe, is to eat with the seasons. The United States kind of prides itself on being able to have strawberries all year long. Well, Europeans, they'll eat their porcini mushrooms when the porcini mushrooms are in season. And in Portugal, if you ask for percebes, those are the beloved barnacles in Portugal, they don't want them frozen, they want them fresh, so they only serve them to locals when they're in season.
Right. It's one of those things that's really hard to pick out from any sort of guidebook. If you're going to get that kind of process, especially the online ones, which are like one sentence recommendations. Your book, my guess tells a little bit of history about the neighborhood and of the restaurant itself.
I think that's a very good point. I always, I'm a historian, and I've always thought you understand the history and the culture, or you understand the culture through the history and its art. And I've learned that you can also better understand the culture through the hearth in the kitchen. And I've been able to travel with guides and writers who see culture that way as much as I see culture through architecture and art and history. And that's really important. It's really fun to be able to be tuned into the culture through the food And one thing I'm a big proponent of is what I call being a cultural chameleon. You know, I'm just not into chocolate generally, but when I'm in Belgium, that's the place to really be into chocolate. I'm not into whiskey in Italy, but when I'm in Scotland, I'm into whiskey. I don't think I've ever ordered a beer in Tuscany, and I've never ordered a nice glass of full-bodied red wine in Prague. It just makes sense. You have your Pilsner in Prague and your beautiful Vino Rosso Corposo in Tuscany.
Yeah, when in Rome, they say, right? When in Rome, eat like a Roman.
Yeah. Well, Tom,
I've
you
never worked all day long in Seattle, Tom, and come home and craved a nice cloudy glass of ouzo. But I don't let a sun go down on a Greek island without a nice cloudy glass of ouzo.
Yeah. You know, American chefs have that distinct. I find the distinct pleasure of borrowing from every culture. You see it when you're over in Europe or anywhere really that they don't really have the want or need to borrow from other cultures in their own cooking, whereas American chefs have always found themselves easily distracted by, I'm going to cook Thai tonight, or I'm going to cook Vietnamese or Italian.
Well, I know Italy is my favorite country for eating, I think, and for eating ethnic or foreign food in Italy, it's eating from another region in Italy.
Right.
And that's fun. I think that what I really like about Italy, they've got this passion for what they call a 0-kilometer meal. And that's the best thing. There's just something right about eating a meal where almost everything was produced within walking distance of your table. And it just seems, I don't know if it really does taste better, but it seems to taste better. Things match better, things are fresher, and you just feel, it's the concept of terroir. I can take the concept of terroir just a little bit farther and add it to this heritage. You're right there. You're surrounded by a community that has been making this for generations, and you're going with the season, and you're eating local. It's just great. For me, one of my a very cool thing to remember. If a good eater goes to a good restaurant in a place like France or Italy, they should be able to look at the menu and know just by looking at the menu what month it is and where they are. And that's the mark of a good restaurant, and I think a good eater.
Rick, this is Bridget. I was just wondering. Dave gave me your new book, Italy for Food Lovers. Do you feel like you're focusing more on restaurants and food in all your travels to different countries? I mean, not just Italy, but.
Well, to be honest, I'd be hard-pressed to co-author a book about food in every country, But Italy is one country, France would be another country, where it's just a slam dunk. Even if you're not a foodie or interested in food culture, when you go to Italy and you go to France, and Spain, it's really important to remember that's such a critical dimension of that culture. And I wrote the Food for Italy for Food Lovers book because of my experience as a tour guide. For 30 years I've been taking groups around Italy, and Americans really need a little bit of help to fully appreciate the beauty of the food culture in Italy. And I wouldn't have been able to do it myself, but I became friends with Fred Potkin, who's just like the go-to guy for Italian food.
Yeah, he sure is.
Do you know Fred? He's an amazing guy. But his book, his approach was a little bit sophisticated for a lot of my readers, and I'm just sort of the everyman traveler, and I'm all into accessibility and not overwhelming people with a sophisticated approach that's over their head. So Fred and I went together, and he had written his own book earlier that I just loved, Italy for Gourmet Travelers or something like that. And gourmet kind of scares me, and I just wanted Italy for food lovers. And we wrote this book together, and I'm just so proud of it. And it's just he's so smart, and we've got such a good knack on what people need to know to appreciate the food culture. And there's concepts. I mean, abbinamento. It's a beautiful concept in Italy where you have a good marriage, they say, of flavors. I've always known that a beautiful slice of cantaloupe with salty prosciutto. That's a nice little treat. But I didn't realize there's a word for it, and it's a binamento. That's a good, sometimes surprising, but a really, really delightful pairing of tastes, cantaloupe and prosciutto.
Right.
Agreed.
We could use it for Spain. You could do it for
Well, parts of Spain.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
get up into the manipulated area, San Sebastian,
Oh,
places like that.
and Sebastian, yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. But Italy, I think that is the perfect term for, because they are, I think, best at, of all the countries that I've been to, at just staying simple with that one ingredient or two ingredients in a dish and just moving forward from there. So, one of my old friends, Faith Heller Willinger, wrote the book Red, White, and Greens, or Eating in Italy, a Definitive Guide, and it was invaluable to me. So I'm so thrilled that you have an updated guide to Italy, because you have to be willing to kind of go in, check it out. If it doesn't feel right, walk out and just move on to the next one, right?
It's a practical handbook to eating in Italy. And I love when you go online, there's all kinds of more tips.
Yeah. Well, my best-selling book is my Rick Steves Italy guidebook, and it's 1,000 or 1,200 pages, but it needed another 600 pages on food, and you can't have a 2,000-page guide. And not everybody wants 600 pages on food, but a lot of people do. So this is the only case where I've written a companion book for my comprehensive guide, and it is the Italy for Food Lovers book, and it does celebrate, like you said, Tom, ingredients, and that's one thing that in my travels I've realized. It is worth paying extra for good ingredients. It's just, I mean, jamon in Spain is a great example. When I was a budget backpacker, I would never get jamon iberico. I would just get jamon serrano. It's half the price, and it's still ham. But no. You've got to have the expensive jamon iberico once in your life at least. And
Exactly.
It's almost like it's almost a sexual experience to lay a little bit of that jamon iberico on your tongue.
Well, with that, now that we're having sex with ham, we will wait for our next segment when we come back. It's the Hot Stove Society show. Rick Steves is our guest. We'll be right back in a minute on 97.3 FM.
That's great. Hey, Rick.
Yeah.
On the next one, I'll show you in the camera 2 minutes. Can you see me? I'll do 2 minutes and then 1 minute. So that
Okay.
that's because it's a hard stop.
That's okay. That's good. I'll follow Tom's lead on that.
Great. Okay. We're just going to jump right back in.
One of my most memorable.
And is this is the second segment on the same day?
Correct.
Same show, yes.
Yep, same show. Back to back.
Yep.
I was at a Reggiano farm or cheese
Consortium, yeah.
Consortium. We got there at 7:30 in the morning with Faith taking us around.
She's so amazing.
And we had a big chunk of the Reggiano from the farmer, his homemade salami, and a glass of his homemade Lambrusco.
At like 8 in the
At
morning.
8 in the morning for breakfast. It was one of my most memorable meals ever.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Faith's amazing.
Just to your point, Rick. So,
Yeah, I love that.
all right, here we go. You ready? Nico, you ready? We're back for segment number 2 with Rick Steves on the Hot Stove Society show. We're thrilled to have you on the show, Rick. We appreciate your time. You've been have a new book called Italy for Food Lovers, a practical handbook to eating well in Italy. On the Hippie Trail, Istanbul to Kathmandu, and the making of a travel writer. Rick Steves Europe, a symphonic journey of so much going on in your life. You are a one-man band with a lot of band members.
Well, I'm a one-man band with a. I'm not a one-man band. I'm a 100-man band. I've got 100.
That's what I'm saying, with a lot of
wonderful,
band members, but it's all towards this cool
We're all
brand
working.
that you've created.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I'm lucky I fell into my niche. I just love to be people's globetrotting guinea pig. I'm out there making all the mistakes, taking careful notes, hitting and missing and missing and hitting and bringing home the hits so people can have a better experience. We Americans have the shortest vacations in the rich world. And we always want to do too much with our limited amount of time, and we really need somebody who can be the lead person and find out how to put together a smart itinerary. If you got 2 dinners in Madrid in your life, you know that's a pretty big decision. Let's make them good. When you're in when you're in Dublin or you're in Athens or you're in Istanbul, you got some great opportunities. And these days, there's so much crowdsourcing and. Crowdsourcing has its place, but crowdsourcing by definition is people who haven't been there before sharing their experiences and their opinions, but they're not always the people who would have the best experience to make a good opinion. So I like to offer the wisdom of the local guides that I get to travel with. And that's my magic juice when it comes to researching, is hanging out with local experts, whether they're food guides or historical and artistic guides. And I get to pick their brains. And then because I've had 30 years of tour as a tour guide, 30 years of experience as a tour guide, I understand what is confusing and what is causing anxiety among travelers and what are the frustrations. And I can sort through all that information and design it in a way where hopefully they can have a better trip on the first time. And that's the rationale for a good guidebook, whether it's a food book you're talking about or just a comprehensive guidebook to any of those countries in Europe.
That's amazing. And Rick, do you find that you've become more of a foodie now that it's become so important for travelers, I think, to go to these fancy meals? You feel like you're changing a bit?
I'm changing a lot. Yeah, I've learned a lot from my tour members. We take 30,000 people on about 1,200 tours around Europe every year. And I used to do all the tours. Now I've got 100 guides in Europe that do the tours, and I take the tours instead of lead them. Mm-hmm. But I learned a lot from my tour members. They were aficionados of this or that, and I realized there's a lot of joy to be had in appreciating the good cuisine. And you don't need to spend a fortune. You just need to know what you want to experience, and you want to eat local, and you want to eat with the season, and you want to know how to choose a good restaurant. And so I've matured with that. And it is a function of we all think that our budgets are tight and everything, but we've got more money now to live well than we've ever had in the past. And while we complain about our inability to budget for important things, the bar is pretty high. And we go out and we eat really well when we're on the road, and we spend a little money, but it's the most beautiful memories for many people. And you got to do it right. And as I'm out and about every night, I've got a list of 10 or 15 restaurants I'm going to visit with my local food guide. And I see a lot of people missing the boat when it comes to good food experiences in Europe. And I see a lot of people who really know how to do it right. And it's a skill for traveling, just like appreciating the art in a gallery.
Sure.
I just got back from my first 5-week vacation of my life, traveling throughout Europe, a week in each spot, rental houses where you can cook at the same time. You could go out if you choose, but kitchen's available. The 8 of us were cooking together. I think people forget sometimes how magical the experience is of going to the market itself, bringing it back, and then cooking together as a group in a foreign country. And it's really magical. I mean, I don't know if there's another word for it.
And Tom, I've become a believer in that myself. I used to think it was kind of a lame way to spend 3 hours on a tour with my, because people, I got 24 people on a tour, and our responsibility is to design each of those days so every experience is rich and well organized and vivid. And my guides have taught me that to go to the market, shop, and then go back to a kitchen and cook it and then eat it. It's a beautiful thing. And I've become a real believer in that. We just filmed in Poland making pierogi, and we went into the market with my Polish guide. It was such a beautiful experience. Went back to his house, and I'm not much of a cook, but I got to cook it. And I'll tell you, it was the best. I don't think you could have got a better lunch in a fine restaurant. It was so good. And one thing I'm sort of into these days is food tours. There were no food tours 20 years ago, and now I find a highlight in every city. If you're interested, is a food tour. You get to go to a bunch of usually a food tour will take you to 6 or 7 artisans and people who are passionate about one little slice of the edible culture or the drinkable culture. And you have a mobile meal, you make friends with a local food guide, and you get some exercise, you learn a lot about the city and the culture, and you've had a wonderful, unforgettable multi-course meal. And if you do it early on your stay, like you said, Tom, you were in each city for 1 week, I would take a food tour on the first day. And then when you're in Lisbon, all of a sudden you understand about the sardines, you understand about the pastel de nata, you understand about the importance of cod, you understand about all sorts of little liqueurs that the sailors have always eaten, and the food culture, and the coffee culture, and the wine culture. And then for the rest of your week, you're a lot more able to get in there and eat your way through the culture.
Helps you feel the lay of the land. That's what we do. Every time we travel, we start off with a food tour.
Oh, do you? Yeah.
The last one
that's
was
cool.
in Tokyo, though, at the fish market at 5 in the morning. It
Oh
was
my goodness.
beautiful, but that's the way. And
Yeah.
then we used public transportation, and then we knew how to get around. So I totally agree with that.
We did a food tour in Morocco on our last day, so if we got sick, we could just go home and be sick and not be on vacation.
How'd it work out for you?
Got sick.
Oh.
I don't regret it. It was great. Got to eat some really weird food in Morocco in the market. And I was just thinking, yeah, we're getting out of our comfort zone here. But it was, I wouldn't have traded.
You know, one of the first things, it's funny, I spent 5 weeks with the same people, and you would never have done that before. I knew them all, but I'd never really spent any time with them. We had a really fun time, weren't sick of each other. One of the first things we did when we got back a week later, we all regathered, and we cooked one of our favorite meals from the trip. And we continue to kind of have that urge to do more of the same because it brings that same joy back to your home kitchen. Are there any foods or meals that you've made from your travels that bring joy to you and memories to you in your home kitchen?
I love that. I'm nowhere near the talented chef of any of your friends, but you know, I've become quite a connoisseur of smørrebrød. I'm a picnic fanatic in Europe, and in Scandinavia they have these wonderful, delicate gourmet sandwiches with beautiful breads, and then all sorts of herring and local vegetables and so on, and that's really fun. I may take that home. You know, I mean, cheese to me is one of the great things on this planet, and life is too short to have mediocre cheese. And if you knew me, you know, when I was a kid, you'd know I thought cheese was orange in the shape of the bread. Here you go, cheese sandwich. Unwrap me another slice.
Yeah, exactly.
But now, of course, if my local grocery store drops the fancy kind of cheese, I really notice it, and I go, hey, what's going on? I need this good cheese. You get spoiled when you're in Europe and you have access to those kind of things. And part of my goal in my tour guiding is to expose people to that. One thing I've noticed is there are beautiful breads from country to country, and that bread culture is amazing. When I go to Estonia, there's a dark bread there that I just love, and you go to Ireland and they've got that beautiful soda bread, and Germans love their bread. I know my favorite French hotelier, he will not serve breakfast until they've got today's croissants and baguettes. We were just on a barge, little gourmet barge boutique hotel floating through the canals of Burgundy, Tom, and the crew was 3 people: the captain, the first mate, and our chef. And each morning, the chef would get on his little motorbike and he would zip into the village and he would buy fresh croissants. And when we got up, there was, you know, croissants still warm out of the oven on the breakfast
And
table.
probably local cheese from every little town you went through, right?
It's so funny. I told them I just love cheese, and they said, great. And we had cheese at every meal, and I didn't
That's
get
the
tired.
way to do it.
That was so fun. You know, hey, one thing I just love is to get fine food, but not with the pretense of Michelin stars. And when I'm doing my research, I look for bib gourmand, that term of a Michelin-rated restaurant that wasn't fancy enough to get a star. And I find that's a good combination of casual, good value, and really quality food. And across the board, if I get to that bib gourmand level, that would be the top end of my recommendations in my guidebooks.
So that's Michelin as well, just the...
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
Michelin rated without the star.
Michelin rated, okay.
Well,
And
yeah. and that's
sometimes I fall in love with a restaurant that I discovered, and then sure enough, I realize, oh, it's Michelin rated, but without the star.
Okay.
I would suggest that's kind of where our restaurant group lives in that area. We've never tried to have a star. Like Chef Terry would always love to have a star, if not 2 or 3, whatever. But for us, it's just not my nature. And so I would totally agree with you, Rick, that Bib Gourmand is a good place to begin.
Nice.
All right.
Well, you're sure lucky because you take with you in your travels, Tom, and an ability to appreciate the cuisine, and that's something we can all aspire to.
Yeah, an ability to cook and to with a group. I think
Yeah.
one of the things that I found with our group of 8 was they needed a leader or a chef,
Yep.
right? Because one's in produce, one's in real estate,
Yeah.
he makes potato chips for a living, so
That's why they invited you.
You could put together a
But you
group
do
with a
need someone to-
musician and an art historian and a chef and
Yes.
and a person who knows flora and fauna. Wow, that would
Yeah.
be fun.
That'd
it's
be
good
a
to have a
good
leader in the group,
tour.
though, or you end up like, where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? It's like,
No,
no. We don't have any of that.
Right.
I jump right in.
You got it.
Okay, Rick, thanks for your time today. The newest books are Italy for Food Lovers, On the Hippie Trail, Istanbul to Kathmandu, and Rick Steves Europe, a symphonic journey, a musical journey, which to me, when you
On
combine
TV.
music in your kitchen, along
Oh,
with
yeah.
your favorite
Well,
recipe,
The Symphonic Journey, Tom, is not a book, it's a TV show, and you can see that at the PBS app or on my website at ricksteves.com. And the Hippie Trail was before I did anything but grovel around. That was when I was a 23-year-old vagabond going on the ultimate road trip from Istanbul to Kathmandu, and I journaled it back before I was ever a travel writer, and we just produced that, and it's got on the New York Times bestseller list, and it's really been quite a hit. So that was the Europe through the back door, all the way to Nepal.
Awesome.
That's amazing. Wow.
Awesome.
All right, thanks so much, Rick.
Thanks.
Happy travels.
Thank you.
Thanks
All
for
right,
having me.
up next, it's time for Food for Thought Tasty Trivia, brought to you by Rub with Love Spice Rubs. On Cairo Radio, it's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
Great. Rick, thank you so much, and thanks for your patience.
No problem. That was all right for you guys. Nice to meet you all.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
that's great.
come on in the studio
We'll
anytime.
see you soon. I'll come make you paella, Rick.
Hey, I'd love that. Okay, bon appetit.
Okay, bye. So, Nico, can I close this for all? You have what you need? Okay, now we just have promos, so we need a little quiet.
All right, quiet on the set.
Quiet on
please,
the set.
kitchen. Everyone, quiet on the set. Let's try this page. Quiet on the set. Who's still chatting? I hear somebody chatting. Okay, here we go. Hi, I'm Chef Tom Douglas.
And I'm Chef Bridget Charters.
Today on the Hot Stove Society radio show, the tasting panel explores the nuances of vanilla extract with Megan Wilson of Wild Montana Foods. We dive into the preservation of Pacific Northwest wild salmon with Duke Mosgrip and Heather Anderson, founders of Duke's Damsel on a Train Foundation. And Rick Steves joins us for a couple of segments, insights on food and European travel straight from his kitchen in Edmonds, Washington.
All right.
Great.
All right.
Perfect. It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. Thank you, everybody.